Playoffs Part 2 just dropped in Madden 23, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing what you guys gotta be doing with the new content in game. So Salsals and family, hope you watching this are having a wonderful start to your day, and welcome back to another Madden 23 video. In this one, I'm going to be going over 3 quick tips and tricks regarding the new playoff content in game. Thing number 1 are some of the new missions that are now available in the playoff field pass. As you guys can see, when we take a look at our objectives, there are some new challenges, some new stats, as well as some new head-to-head missions. Now, starting with the challenges right here, there's quite a few opportunities to get playoff XP, but I will not lie to you, the new solos that they just dropped in the game in the playoff pass section and the playoff present section, they are a grind. Like, man, if we take a look at the divisional round solos right here, for example, a lot of these require you to score multiple touchdowns or like not allow a touchdown in the entire first half. You gotta play through an entire half of John Madden football to beat a challenge. And to be honest, that's a little bit too much of a grind for me. I'm not sure why they did this. Even when we take a look at the playoff pass solos, I believe all these are win game challenges. Obviously, some of them will start you in the 4th quarter, but some of them only start you in the 3rd quarter, and you gotta play through, again, a full half of John Madden football to beat a solo, which in my opinion is a little bit unfortunate. When we compare them to some of the other solos that came out in this game, all we had to do was force a fumble and we would win this one, or recover a fumble and we would win this one. So yes, I will say the new challenges probably are worth it since there's not really that many of them, and you do get quite a nice amount of playoff XP, but beware, they're not super quick. Now, thing number 2 are some of the stats in here. The first one is winning 5 games with 6+ playoff players in your lineup. For me personally, what I'm going to do is just go to the auction block and buy up some of the 86 overall playoff cards, put them in my lineup as like backups at like backup left guard, backup left end, whatever it may be. And then once I have my 6 playoff players in my lineup, well, then I can start to get progress on this. Again, you don't need like playoff champions. You can use like the 86s to get this mission done. And then otherwise, I do believe these 2 missions are new, getting 8 sacks and getting 15 sacks. So honestly, don't really worry about that. If you're just playing solos or playing online, that'll happen naturally. And then finally, they actually released quite a few missions in the head-to-head section. I believe these 4 missions right here, getting 20 tackles, 40, 60, and 80, I believe they're all new, and those are honestly super easy to get. Like in one online game, you're probably going to get 20 tackles. It's actually going to be really easy to get those knocked out. Again, all you'll have to do is just play some online games. They're pretty quick to do. So advice-wise, all you really got to do is get some backups so you can get this mission done, and then play your solos and play some online games. I would say that's really all there is to it in this new playoff promo. Now, before we get into tip number 2, fellas, there is a boosted line coming on Underdog Fantasy this weekend, and let me explain how you can get it as well as what that means. Now, first of all, if you don't know what Underdog Fantasy is, they're a place where you guys can make player picks like some of the ones you see on the screen. I actually had $180 in wins over the weekend, which was awesome. And this boosted line is going to give you the opportunity to win big. Now, here's what I mean by that. Let's say, for example, the boosted line is like Patrick Mahomes for his passing yards. Now, without the boost, if you were to just use Patrick Mahomes' line, as well as, let's say, 2 other picks you are confident in, you would 6x your money if you got those picks correct. But let's say, for example, Patrick Mahomes now has a boosted line. Well, if you include the Pat Mahomes boost, as well as 2 other picks that you're confident in, instead of 6xing your money, now you would 15x it. Now, if you want the odds boost, all you got to do is click the Google Drive form. I will leave it linked in the description and in the pinned comment. All you basically do is put in your Underdog username, and then they're going to give you that boosted line for tomorrow. And if you're not yet signed up with Underdog Fantasy and this sounds interesting to you, check the link in the description to sign up using code SWIFT, and then you can fill out that form and you'll get the boosted line as well. Okay, now getting back on track, let's talk about the packs and let's talk about the predictor tokens, because in this new promo, there is actually a new pack in the store, the divisional playoff pack right here, giving you a 70+, an 86+, as well as a 91+. And fellas, here's my advice. Please do not open this thing up. As you guys can see, it costs you 125,000 coins. You get a 93+ player only 22% of the time. Now, in that 22% of the time, if you get quote-unquote lucky and pull a 93, you still lose coins opening this pack. 93s are selling for less than 100k. So in my opinion, unless you want to donate coins to EA Sports, there is no reason why you should open this. Literally, the only way you make coins is if you get super lucky and get within that 4.2% of people that pull a 96 when they open this pack up. So it's really rare to get a pull that makes you coins. Even a 93 doesn't make you coins. And again, you're not even guaranteed to get a 93. Like, odds are you're probably just going to get like a 91 and lose a ton. So please do not open those packs. Now, final thing to mention, and this is probably the most important, let's go to our sets and let's go to the playoff game predictors, because fellas, there are some new predictors in here, and I'm going to talk about which ones I like as well as which ones I don't love. And if you're wondering, Swift, what are these playoff predictors? How do I get these tokens, which I'm going to be using to actually get these predictor sets done? Well, you can get them for getting progress in your field pass, which is simple. We talked about that from before. Or you can actually do this set right here in the playoff promo. This set is called the Game Predictor Token Exchange, and for putting in an 86, you get 2 playoff predictors. But for me personally, what I'm going to be doing is just using some of the free tokens that I've got. I've got quite a few free tokens in here, and let's talk about my favorite picks. Now, first of all, when it comes to picking a team that's going to win, most of the odds in here are going to be really similar. Let's say, for example, we wanted to put a predictor token on the Bills. Well, we would only be getting 5,100 coins if we got that right. And you could argue that Bills-Bengals is going to be quite a toss-up. Now, compare that to the Chiefs and Jaguars, which is much more of a lock. Well, you get 4,400 coins, so nearly the same amount of coins, but it's much more of a sure thing on a team like the Jags. So in my opinion, out of the win game predictors, we'll call them, so like betting on a team that's gonna win, I think my favorite one is most certainly the Jaguars, and I don't even think it's close. I think all these other games in here are much more of a toss-up. Like Bills-Bengals, those are 2 good teams. Cowboys-Niners, those are 2 good teams. A lot of people think the Eagles are most certainly gonna win this game. I'm a big Eagles fan. We're friends with CJ Gardner-Johnson on the channel, but the Giants, man, they looked good last week. It's a divisional game. Honestly, for some reason, I just love the Giants as well. Like, bro, they're such a fun team to rally around. So for me personally, I think the team that's most likely to win is the Chiefs, man. They've got the experience, they're playing at home, and like, it's Pat Mahomes, dude. Like, you're not gonna bet against Pat Mahomes. Okay, now next up, let's move on to some of the more exciting stuff, because as you guys can see, there's quite a few different prop bets in here for, let's say, for example, Eagles Giants. One of them would be AJ Brown getting the final touchdown of the game. There's this one where Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley have to put up 275 and 75 yards respectively, and then there is the total points scored option. And what I want to do is go through all these and talk about my favorite ones to put predictor tokens on. Now, the first 2 that I definitely have my eye on are the overs on these games. Now, as you guys can see, there's 2 of these. There's one right here, which is that 62 or more total points are scored in Bills against Bengals, and then there's 58 or more total points being scored in this game. And this year in the playoffs, as well as every year in the playoffs, they are always high-scoring games. Teams are risky. Teams are throwing the football. Teams are going forward on 4th down. They are playing to win. They are playing to put up points. What I want to do is read out the amount of points that were scored in the games last week. There was a game with 41 points scored, a game with 54, a game with 55, 61, 64, and 65 points. So half the time, you were getting more than 60 points scored combined in these games last week. So in my opinion, I like throwing a couple tokens on each of these. Like a couple tokens on this one, a couple tokens for Eagles and Giants to be high scoring, a couple tokens on Bills-Bengals to be high scoring. Like, man, I just actually think that Bills-Bengals game is going to go over 62. Like, I could see both teams getting up to 30 points. I could see it being a very high scoring game. Now, there's 2 other picks that I am definitely a fan of. There's a lot of picks in here that are just weird, like AJ Brown getting the final touchdown of the game. How am I going to predict that? I have no clue. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley to get 275 and 75 yards respectively. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't love it though. I actually don't think Saquon's going to get to 75 rush yards in this game, but the 2 that I really like otherwise are this one, Jamar Chase to get 100 yards and a touchdown. Honestly, he could do that in one play. So I'm putting a couple tokens on this. You get 15K if you get that correct. And then the other one that I have my eye on, and I actually really love, and I'm probably going to max center, is Travis Kelce to get the first touchdown of the game. Now, I don't know why, but I just feel like the first touchdown of the game is a lot more easier to predict than the last touchdown of the game. A lot of these other picks in here are like Stephon Diggs to get the last touchdown of the game. Like, man, how in the world am I meant to know that? Or AJ Brown to get the final touchdown of the game. How am I meant to know that? That's just super random. But the first touchdown of the game is a lot more predictable. A lot of the times, teams will script their plays, and they'll have a set of plays that they know they're going to run at the start that are designed to go to the best players on the field, and Travis Kelce is obviously Patrick Mahomes' favorite option. I feel like he hasn't been scoring a ton of touchdowns at the end of the season there, so he's due to get one. Maybe it'll be the first one. Me personally, though, I'm max entering this. I'm putting 3 in this. We get 22K if we get it correct.